are for the month of October, it really kind of makes you have to identify every single day whether or not you were being a productive loan officer or a productive originator, or if you were just being a loan officer, which is just pushing the paper and managing the details. So, hey, Kat, can you do me a favor? Would you read what was what I put on the screen, the quote for the day?
Yep. What lies behind us and what lies ahead of us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Yep. So, has anybody ever read the book Delivering Happiness by Tony Hsieh?
No.
I don't think so.
Tony Hsieh was the founder of Zappos. I'm going to assume, Kat, you know what Zappos is? Kat?
What is?
Zappos? Have you ever heard of the company Zappos?
Yeah, I'm here. I couldn't hear you. You were breaking up.
Oh, I apologize.
Zappos. Yes.
Okay, so you've heard of the company Zappos. Well, he founded the company Zappos, and to make a really horrible conversion of a really amazing book, the story behind Zappos was they took what was essentially an internet-based company and they turned it into a highly profitable, customer service oriented and centered company. And it's become one of these companies that other people and other businesses come and visit the company to check out and see what the culture is all about. The book has many, many highlights to it, and it's a significantly impactful read if you get a chance to read it. But one of the things that Tony Hsieh highlighted in one of his quotes was, what lies behind us and what lies ahead of us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. And it struck me because I know that what we're going to be doing over the next several months is really going to be dealing with the realities of what approaches us from behind and ahead of us to prevent us from reaching our goals. And our goals being in this particular arena going to be the goals of hitting our volume or units for the month of October. So I want you guys to each understand that everything that we do in these classes is a very, very small portion of what really has to go on for the remaining 7 days of the week or the 6 days of the week to help you achieve this. So what I'd like to do is there anybody that'd like to start first with their lead tracker? Anybody would like to start? And I'll pull it up.
Sure. Yeah.
All right, Bruce. All right, buddy. Let me pull up your lead tracker here in a second. All right. So this is going to be where I need you guys to be completely vulnerable and honest and really just kind of open yourselves up to not only what I have to share with you, but also we're going to lean on each of you individually because you guys are all going to do things slightly differently and we could all use your perspective and advice. So please don't let this just be me kind of disseminating information. I'm really looking forward to having you guys share your thoughts and opinions on what is and isn't working. So, so this is for the first month, so you got 9 leads for the month.
Yes.
Is that correct? Okay.
That's
so
correct.
when you look at what your goal was, and your goal is to close how many loans on October, brother?
I was looking at five a month.
Okay, 5 a month. So we knew that you had to achieve at least 15 to 20 leads a month, correct?
Correct.
And why, by looking at this document, what do you think about your efforts for the month of July through the 22nd of the month?
I think the effort is good. I mean, there's a fair number of referrals there. They're not all going to fly, obviously, but it's as you discussed, it's a numbers game. So you're going to have to bring in certainly more referrals, more leads, and more qualifications than you're going to ever get.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I would say for the most part, I'm on track for at least for this week.
Yep. So what I'm looking at is you've got essentially what another 5. Let's just call it another 7 days to get essentially another 5 referrals.
Right.
When I look at this document, what do you see about your abilities that stands out to you? Does anybody see on this form, like Cheryl or Kat, what do you see on his lead tracker that makes you kind of go, oh, that's eye-opening?
Got a lot of realtor referrals.
Yep, he's got a lot of realtor referrals. Does it look like his realtor referrals are coming from more than, I mean, how many has he got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of the 10, so 50% of your referrals have come from realtors.
Yep.
Okay. It also appears to me that you get quality referrals, meaning you've got really 2 referrals on this sheet. Out of the 10, 80% of your referrals are qualified. And that's how I read this document. Is that fair, Bruce?
That's fair. That's fair.
Okay. But it also tells me that where you're batting almost 100% on is you're batting 100% on your friends calling in. So I know you've only got two direct call-ins.
Yep.
Well, let's use, I'm going to assume Scott is almost a direct call-in too. I mean, I'm going to consider him to be more of a friend. What's that?
Yeah, I didn't quite know how to qualify, put him on there, but...
Yeah, nope, I love it. I love it. So the reality for me is when I look at this, it tells me a couple things about how you do business. One, it tells me that people trust you and like you. Otherwise, the quality of referrals would be significantly lower and we'd see a lot more red X's. Okay? Also, it tells me that what you're doing on a day-to-day basis is that you have the ability of connecting with a variety of different types of people, meaning you've got realtors and you've got friends calling and giving you business. So you've got 2 sources of business coming in right now. You've got your realtor network and you've got your personal friend network. Where else do you think that you could tap into to get additional business?
I actually received an email yesterday. I've developed a relationship with a home inspector, and he sent me the names of 10 of his clients that he is going to introduce me to in a warm way. It's not going to be a personal introduction, but it'll be email or phone call on my behalf.
Yep. And so we would categorize that as being an affiliated relationship or a business relationship.
Right.
When you look at your lead tracker, it's vitally important that you recognize not only who is referring you business, but also where the business is coming from. Because as you look at not only the number of leads that you're getting, you also have to pay attention to the quality of lead and where it's coming from. One of your greatest strengths right now, Bruce, is the idea that because you've been in sales for so long, because you've been doing customer relationships for so long, you inherently have a lot of strengths that relate you to people, not necessarily realtors, not necessarily friends, not necessarily business partners. You just have a general way of communicating that people feel comfortable with. Otherwise, you wouldn't be getting quality referrals from these people. You'd be getting a lot of dead leads, which would tell me a totally different story about how you present yourself. So when we look at this, let's talk about the 2 people that are actually homes, Frederick Helms and Jackson. These are 2 people that actually have gone into application mode with you. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so these people have signed, sealed, and delivered you as far as you can basically count on them closing a loan within the next 90 days.
Yes, those will both close in the next 30 days if everything goes properly.
Okay, so let's label them. Let's label leads that are going to be closing in the next 30 to 45 days as fruit. And I use the term fruit and seeds just because it works for me. So these are people that are immediate. The Weingar, McCall, Pohl, and Brown are all, what are these? These are, how is Weingar different than Helms?
Weininger is a refinance.
So when you say okay, so it's a refi.
What about? I've gone through the process. I've taken their information. I'm collecting more information as necessary to qualify them. That one's got about a 75% chance of it actually happening.
Okay, now why do you say 75% chance?
As I got into it, they discovered that there's a foreclosure in they've a foreclosure and a timeshare, and I've got to determine when that took place, so we have the timelines proper.
Okay, so then help me understand the difference between, then let's go with Jackson and McCall. How are Jackson and McCall? They're both purchases, both pre-qualified. What makes them one different than the other according to the symbols?
Jackson, I've got a purchase agreement. McCall, I don't.
Okay. So Jackson is a purchase agreement and McCall is out looking. Awesome. So you're making this I mean, you're doing it exactly as I thought. Awesome. So McCall is going to be somebody that's more of a seed, right? Somebody that's going to close 60 days and out, right?
Correct.
Okay. The same thing goes for Pohl and Brown, more along the lines of going to be out looking at homes over the next, 30 days, and we're talking about a closing 60 days or longer, correct?
Correct. I find they're both financeable. I've gone that far with them, and now they're out looking.
Awesome. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself on this, but one of the things that this lead tracker allows you to do is on a day-to-day basis, you can stay in touch with those people that you know that are more they're seeds, meaning 60 days and out, which means that you have to kind of stay in front of them and make connections and constantly stay in communication with them over the next 60 days until they find a contract. This is when they're not only shopping for a house, but unless you've established a really strong relationship, there's a chance that they could be solicited, by somebody else. So when I look at this and we go, if this is 60 days out, there's a really good chance that McCall, Pohl, Brown, and Weingart could roll into September and October. That's a pretty fair statement, don't you think?
I do think so. Yes.
So if I was in your position, I would actually be creating another document that would say, what are my hopefuls for the month of September and October? I mean, you could literally be sitting here going, I've got at least 4 clients that very well could be closing in September and October, which if my goal for October is 5 loans, as long as I stay in touch with these 4 people on a consistent basis, I can ensure myself that I might have closings already prepared and in the works for September and October, which makes the stress of hitting your 5 units for the month of October seem a little less daunting, because you're now being forced to have to track this business on a day-to-day basis and looking at these names. And when you realize that they're seeds and that you have to continue to nurture them for the next 60 days, I think it's a great way of making sure that you're preparing yourself not only just for what's closing in August, but also looking at what September and October and November could yield. I think your conversion rate is phenomenal. I think even if 2 or more of these people fall off, you're batting a greater percent than 40%. And to me, that's amazing. So it tells me that maybe going after 15 leads should be a target, because you do a really good job of getting qualified borrowers to talk to you. So I don't know if there's much that we have to talk about on how you're doing business, but over the next 30 to 60 days, we'll be able to tell if any of these names disappear. Meaning, if we go back in the month of September and Weingart doesn't close with you, McCall doesn't close with you, Pohl doesn't close with you, Brown doesn't close with you, then we'll have a different conversation. Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah. Yeah. My challenge right now is just to increase the activity level, make more contacts, and get more stuff on the lead tracker.
Well, I can't fault you for wanting to do that, but I want you to really realize, when you make a connection with somebody, Bruce, you're not spinning your wheels. You're not getting a bunch of Zillow leads. You're not getting a bunch of internet leads, and you're not apparently getting leads from realtors that don't like you, know you, and trust you, and you're working with realtors that must have a really sound business because they're not giving you dead deals.
Right.
So instead of trying to go out there and just add more leads, I would tell you that I would be focusing on business relationships, because I'd like to see you diversify your business as far as where your leads are coming from. But I would tell you to spend more time talking to Nathan, talking to Sheila, and talking to Brian and Rob, and I would talk to those 4, and then ask yourself, how many leads am I getting from them on a consistent basis? And then look for agents that are a lot like them. Talk to them about who they like in their office and who they think you would be a good fit to work with.
Okay, that's a good idea.
Okay. But good job, man.
Comfortable too.
Yeah, and you got to realize something about not only the clients that you're working with, but your realtors as well. These are people that already know you. These are people that already like you. These are people that already trust you. And don't you think that somebody who knows, likes, and trusts you wants to help you? I mean, heck, they're giving you business. So why wouldn't you be able to go up to them and say, hey, listen, hey, Nathan, can I ask you a favor? I'm working with improving my business. I have room, I have capacity to help out another realtor And instead of going out there and trying to find and interviewing a bunch of agents that you and I both know, it's so hard to find great agents, and you being a great agent, who do you know in your real estate office, or who do you know in your network that's a really good agent who you think I could really partner with and help deliver great service and help improve their business with? And ask them for a referral. You might be pleasantly surprised that they may have a couple names of people that they would love to help you because they have friends inside the office and they talk to each other. Yep. So when you think about how to go out there and add more business, you don't really need to add 10 more realtors to your mix. Maybe what you should be looking at is trying to find 3 more good quality realtors, because if each of them add another 1 or 2 referrals to you a month, there's you're practically almost at 20.
Yep, that sounds good.
So my ask for you after this week would be to find at least 3 to 4 more realtors that you can connect with. Get 1 referral from each of the realtors that are on this sheet. Ask for an introduction, ask for a name and a phone number, and make that a priority for next week.
Okay.
Because again, starting in August, we're starting all over with a whole new lead tracker. So your goal next week is to get at least 5 new leads, and the best way to do that is talking to realtors who are actively out there, getting business anyway. Okay. Does everybody else on the call understand what I'm asking Bruce to do?
Yeah.
Yes.
And do you guys understand why I'm asking him to do that?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. Bruce, congratulations, brother. That's a hell of a great start to your lead tracker.
Thank you, Doug.
I don't know if I would be so concerned with how many leads I'm getting with you, Bruce. I would be more concerned with how many more quality relationships you can establish. Because if this trend continues, you don't have to have a lot of people to talk to every day.
Well, and I did, I'll share with you that I scheduled a meeting day before yesterday and included my wife in it,
Yep.
with a broker and his 2 sons. They've got 9 realtors, and they've invited me to spend quite a bit of time with them. And so,
okay.
And we're also doing some marketing platforms for them as well. So it's going to be a pretty strong relationship. I'm very anxious for that one to develop.
Right. Well, I think it isn't even a matter of teaching you what to say to these people. You just have to get in front of more people. That's it. I mean, more realtors, more business people. Your charisma, your conversation style, your ability to communicate. You really only have one major hurdle, and that is getting in front of more people and talking to quality people when you do that.
Yep.
All right. Hey, Catherine, good morning.
Good morning.
How are things on your end? Busy?
Good. I think the page that you have up, that looks like my June one. Are you able to click on the tab for the July one?
Oh, yeah, I sure can. I didn't even realize that. Is this your tab? There's July's right here. Is this July?
Okay. Yes.
Perfect. Awesome. So tell me what you, when you completed this and when you sent it over to me, what was the one thing that jumped into your brain about this lead tracker for yourself?
Well, I guess kind of similar to Bruce was, I was thinking that there's not enough on there.
Okay.
But I understand where you're getting at, where it's not about the quantity, but more like the quality referrals.
Mm-hmm. When you guys start getting north of 20 leads a month, your conversion ratio is going to be, it's going to drop. It's just the law of averages. Right now, you guys are spending a lot of time developing relationships, and so you're investing a lot of energy in communication and your persona. That's why you're getting these quality leads. As you get more and more leads and you start to get busier and busier, we tend to fall into just kind of surface conversations. We get into more surface activities on a daily basis, and we kind of lose touch with our origination skills, and we become more of a loan officer just because we got to feel like we got to get through the day in order to be able to close up shop and be home for our families. But right now, when I look at your lead tracker, and because you're using colors, I don't know if I quite understand what the colors mean. Oh, you changed them out.
Yeah, I couldn't get those little icons to work for me. I don't know if it's because I don't have
Nope, that's okay.
Excel or what. So I had to change them to colors instead.
Okay. So blue, green, and so what yellow is an active lead, blue, green. So you don't have a single lead on here that's dead. Like you didn't get a single unqualified borrower.
Well, I just after I sent you this, the last two are not gonna work out.
So Pete and Michael.
Right.
Okay. So when you get a chance, go back and find a way to color coordinate that. So again, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. You got five referrals that are either active or have already taken application. Then both of them have agreed to start working with you. How confident are you that those 5 people or 4 people will actually close a loan with you within the next 45 days?
Definitely the 2 that are in green.
Okay.
Well, those are well, actually Holly and John May. That's a refinance, and that one I can definitely go in the next 45 days. Hey, that's a refinance, and that one I think will definitely go in the next 45 days. She and John, they are going to start building, so that's going to be a while out. So that's probably going to be a while out.
Hey, Kat, I'm sorry to interrupt you, sweetie, but hey, Kat, your computer is echoing and it's kind of coming in and out, and I don't know if anybody else can hear, but I didn't really catch anything you just said.
Okay.
Yeah, she went away.
Should I call in instead?
Well, try talking through it one more time because you sounded perfect just there. So if you could just repeat what you just said.
Okay, so I guess the only one that would really be realistic within the next 30 to 45 days is the May.
Okay. What about COSA?
They are building, and they haven't started the building process yet.
Okay. So here's an interesting piece of information that you guys are going to want to pay close attention to. You've got great quality of leads coming in. You've got a high conversion ratio. But when you look at your activity and what creates a paycheck for August versus September versus October, November, this is where this lead tracker really starts to help you uncover the instability that we all have in our businesses. You could be extremely busy and be getting good referrals and all these people could be active, but end up going a month or 2 without a paycheck because all you're getting is a lot of seeds and not a lot of fruit. So when you look at your pipeline, you've got one closing that you know is almost guaranteed for August, but you don't have really anything else. So maybe as you talk to your network, and we'll get to where your business is coming from here shortly, when you talk to your network, your ask might be a little bit different. You might, instead of looking at people trying to buy a home right away, maybe what you should be asking for, because the market has it's poised really well for refis, maybe what you should be doing is having conversations with your friends and your family and your colleagues from past employers and your network of agents who they know about refinance opportunities. Because those are the ones that are going to be more of the fruit that you can deal with closing in the next 45 days. One of the greatest things is understanding where your business is coming from, but also understanding what kind of business it actually is. When you look at your month of August, and here we are sitting on July 22nd, you can look at your pipeline and go, man, August is going to be really lean, but if I manage my pipeline correctly, I'm insulating myself for September, October, November if I manage Nate and Jenny, if I manage Sheila and Don, if I manage Matt and Katie, if I manage Lee. These are all people that if I maintain great communication with my pre-approved pipeline, I'm preparing myself to have better months ahead, but August looks really lean. So maybe instead for the month, for the rest of the month, it isn't so much going and knocking on realtor doors as much as it is talking to your network of friends and family who right now, if they haven't refinanced in the last 3 years, they're probably a good candidate to refinance. And if you were able to have that specific conversation, it might allow you to have a stronger August than what you currently are looking at right now.
Right.
Your goal for October was to have what? It was 6 loans, correct?
Right.
Okay, which means that we were looking at getting around 20 leads a month. So when we look at what you've done for the month of July, obviously we're running a little bit thin, which tells me that you either got distracted or you're not having great conversations with enough people. I don't think it's the fact that you're not having great conversations with enough people. I think maybe what we're doing is we're not focused on really what our activity needs to be every single day. When I look at you're getting business from Facebook, me, Kenyon, Paul, Andy, these are, so you get quality leads from your network. Like, is Paul a friend or is he a realtor?
Paul is a financial advisor / friend.
Oh, nice. Okay, awesome. So your realtor business gave you 3 referrals, 2 of which are really dead deals.
Mm-hmm.
So if I was to tell you where I would spend most of my time, it would be get back on Facebook, talk to your friends and your family, and maintain a relationship with Paul. And who's Kenyon? Kenyon is a personal friend?
My husband. He's my husband.
Oh, cool. Okay. So there you go. You're batting 100% with your social and personal network. So if I was to give you any specific direction, it would be talk to realtors next week, but I would spend a lot of my time fishing for refinance opportunities with your husband, with your personal friends, and going out on Facebook and seeing what you can do to see if you can uncover a couple opportunities. I don't know if I would really be focusing on realtor relationships at the moment, just because they're going to be great for future business on purchases, but right now you need to fill up your August pipeline. So next week should really be about finding at least 2 to 3 refi opportunities. Based on how people like you and how you talk to them, I think you'd have a pretty good success rate. I don't think you need to talk to 20 people. I think you probably only need to talk to 3 people, and there's a good chance that you'll probably get 2 refi opportunities out of it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Can you guys see how valuable this simple document becomes after you've done it for 3 to 4 months?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, from my standpoint, it just shows, like you said, I've got to diversify who I'm talking to balance out results. So. Right. But it also tells you what you're good at. It also tells you what you're really, really, really proficient in. Bruce, you're really good at talking to realtors and getting them to refer you quality leads. Kat, because you're new to the business, you've got realtors referring you, but 2 out of the 3 referrals were dead. Your strength is your personal friend network. You got a lot of people. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, four people is not bad for a month when you've only been in the business for 90, I think 60 plus days. I think your greatest asset is how much people like you and care about you in your social network. I'll be honest, and I'm going to be completely vulnerable with you. In my first marriage, I was in the industry for about 15 years. I never once got a referral from my wife at the time. Not one. Not one. And you got a referral from your husband.
Wow.
That says something more about you than it does about...
a lot of people.
What's that?
He has a lot of people. He has a huge network.
Right. And so when you think about where your activity on the rest of the day today and on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday next week, where you should be focusing your energy, I would be refi and my social network, which means that your activities are going to be more, they're going to be more laser focused on really what you're after and where you should be getting them from. This really lays out a map on where you need to go. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't schedule more realtor appointments. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't be talking to more people that could give you purchase business. But what we're trying to do is help build some consistency with August and September. So by the time that October hits, you're going to be hitting your 6 loans a month.
Yeah.
But good job. I love it. You guys so far have got great conversion numbers. This is really, really powerful stuff. You guys really don't have a problem talking to people. I think all 3 of you guys are extremely talented communicators. All of you are extremely strong givers in your own right, and people genuinely like you. and that says a lot about what will happen as you get more and more relationships that refer you people. I don't care that you guys only have 7 referrals or 10 referrals or 20 referrals. I care about what those referrals lead to and the quality of referrals coming in. But when we start the conversations every day, it's got to be, I've got to make sure that I understand that 1 out of every 3 referrals that I get, I may end up getting a deal from. 2 out of the 3 may just end up being dead deals. But as we build statistics over the next several months, we'll be able to start identifying where your greater strengths are, where the weak links are, and it'll just help improve your strategy so that we don't have to spend a lot of time trying to figure out what we should do every day. This will tell you exactly how you need to spend 10% of your day to make 90% of your money. So good job, guys. I'm really, really impressed. Really impressed. Awesome. You know what? Because you supplied me the June lead tracker, Kat, let me ask you a question. So are the red ones on here the dead? Are the red ones on here the dead deals?
Yep.
So is Thomas and Trent, are they actual closable deals that will be closing in the next 30 days?
Yeah, they should. Well, they were supposed to close. One of them was supposed to close today, and the other one was supposed to close Monday. But we've had issues, so in the next 2 weeks they will.
Okay, so you will actually have 2 closings, so you might actually have 1 more closing in the month of August.
Right.
Awesome. What about Sarah Murphy?
She is she's house hunting, so I've been keeping up with her. Probably every week or 2 I'll reach out to her. She's just slowly house hunting.
Right. So it looks like Reggie Owens is, you know, he sent you two leads, one that worked, one that didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So if I was talking to anybody, I'd be talking to Reggie.
Yeah.
Hey Reggie, what other realtor do you know that I might be able to get in touch with? He obviously likes you. Same thing with Lisa. Lisa Willis is another realtor. Is that a strong realtor relationship?
Mm-hmm.
Go back and look at the leads that your realtors are giving you. Identify the realtor that you think has the best chance at referring you, obviously, more leads, but talk to them about who they may know in their office who might be a good fit for you. That's probably the easiest introduction that you could ask for.
Right.
Awesome. It's great. Consistently 8 leads last month, and I'm pretty sure you're going to get at least 2 or 3 last month. So you're averaging about, you know, you're averaging 7 to 8 leads a month, and we need another 10.
Right.
So start thinking about how you can add more leads to your lead tracker based on the information that you're getting off the last 2 months. Call realtor, personal finance. See, look at that. You get a ton of people talking about you in your social network.
Yeah.
Gee whiz, Kat, that's awesome. Can I ask you a personal question about that?
Sure.
How do you start the conversation with your friends? How do you get into the dialogue of, this is what I do, how can I help you, and can I have a chance?
Most of them are, well, you know, I'm still working at the restaurant at nights.
Yep.
So most of them are people that I come in contact with that know from Facebook that I'm doing something new, and they, you know, they ask me about it. How's your new business going? And I tell them, you know, it's going. I'm just, you know, trying to build up. I'm really excited about it. The way that I get my business is from people that I know referring me to people that, you know, that they know that need something. And most of those conversations have been like, oh, well, I want to buy a house. You know, can you check and see if I would get pre-qualified? That's how 1, 2, 3 of those came from that.
Right. Wow. That's awesome. Are you open for a little bit of coaching with that real quick?
Yes.
I'm going to give you a really simple, and I've probably said this before here, but here's a really simple way to explain that to your friends. I'm interested in helping people who you care about get the best possible mortgage advice out there. and let's be honest, if we're really talking about this to our friends, there's so much junk out in the world on the internet, you know, and people's experiences that have already gone through the process, that your ability to reframe who you are to them at that moment is really, really vital. And so what you're really saying to them is, I only want to work with people who you care about, because I know that if I talk to them, they're going to come back to you and say thank you.
Mm-hmm.
My business only grows with people who care about me as much as I care about them. So maybe when your dialogues with them, change the verbiage up a little bit to really say, my business is going really, really well. I'm working with people who I care deeply about because they care deeply about me.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't ask for anything better, because I realize that I'm not the only person that does loans, but I honestly believe that I'm the best person to talk to before they get a mortgage, because I'll give them the right advice. So I'm really looking for people who care about me, to get me in touch with people that they care about.
Mm-hmm.
When you start changing the verbiage up to be less about referrals and more about caring for people,
Mm-hmm.
it puts you in more of a relational spotlight and less on, because I think sometimes the word referral gets used by people who aren't qualified. There are many people who ask for referrals that are not referable, and in some arenas I feel like it feels very salesy when you say you know, because I see business cards from realtors all the time that says the best compliment I can get is a referral. Well, the reason that you're putting it on your business card is because you're not referable yourself. Otherwise, you would just say it. I think that in your dialogue with your friends, change the wording up to be about caring about people and asking them to refer you to people that they care about, and it puts them in more of a relational context with who they're thinking about. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Awesome. All right.
It does.
So, Cheryl, good morning.
Good morning.
And you are on fire, young lady. Whew. On
Well, when
fire.
you go on vacation, you get busy.
I'm telling you what, you become so laser focused that doesn't matter. I mean, you should go on vacation once a month.
Honestly.
Whew, that's awesome. So, can you be honest with me for 1 second? How long
Sure.
have you been tracking your leads? Legitimately tracking your leads.
Just probably 3 weeks maybe. Right after I came on with on this group and you sent me that, I started working on this.
What have you noticed about what do you find yourself thinking about more now that you're tracking your leads? And just be honest with me. I mean, if nothing's really changed, that's fine. But I'm really just kind of curious to know. I mean, I don't know how you could manage tracking 20 plus people a month without some kind of a system.
Well, I guess because of this lead tracker, it's like, okay, who can I call today so I can add their name to this list? You know what I mean? Like, I got to add one today. I've got to add one today.
Right. Right. So
but
it's
the
kind
other
of becoming
thing
more.
too is.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, the other thing too is I feel like seeds that I had planted previously are starting to grow, because the last one that I just added yesterday, it was somebody, I pre-qualified somebody a few months back and they didn't qualify, but I set them on the path so that within this next year they'll get their finances in order, and she actually sent somebody to me. And then another one was I did an event at Costco with a small little local branch that we'll do HELOCs with, and I met somebody and she didn't qualify. Well, she sent me somebody.
Is it kind of helping you stay focused on all the people that you do talk to?
Yes.
If you have, let's just say every month you get 20 leads, and next month it's 20 new names that are not on this lead tracker. And then the month after that, that's 20 new names that are not on the previous 2 months lead trackers. It's not unrealistic to think that after 90 days, you're going to have a pipeline of 30 people who are not dead deals, but are still interested in doing something. And that's where the additional layer of business comes with this lead tracker. It's the idea that nobody goes into the forgotten stage. And let's be honest, our brains are not filing cabinets. Our brains are processing systems. That's why we are that's why we're so horrible at follow-up, because we don't have a system that allows us to stay in touch with the people that have reached out to us. And I'll speak it from my experience. I can go 90 days without calling somebody, call them, and most of the time they go, oh my God, I was just thinking about you, or oh my God, I just talked to my wife about you last night, or I can't believe you just called me, it's perfect timing. Has anybody ever experienced that kind of a dialogue with somebody they hadn't talked to in a couple months?
Oh, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're all connected. And so when I look at this lead tracker and I look at how many names are on here, there's no physical way that we could, or mental or psychological way that we could possibly remember everybody's names, everybody's phone number, and when they called and how and at what stage they're at. The beauty of this document, especially when you get up to 20 leads, is now that you can stop trying to remember everybody's name. All you have to do is look at the name and you can remember the conversation, which is a much more effective way of managing your pipeline. The beauty of what you have here not only is the volume, but and some of these are not, some of these don't have any codes next to them, but right now you've got 20 leads and only 2 of them are dead deals.
Mm-hmm.
And most of your business comes from realtors. So if I was Kat and I was Bruce, I'd be asking Cheryl, how in the heck did you get so many realtor relationships referring you? What do you do every single day, every single week that gets you in front of all these realtors? This is where this conversation doesn't become about me anymore. Cheryl, I saved your lead tracker for last because I want Cheryl, or because I want Kat and Bruce to really look at this and go, Cheryl, you don't do a lot of business with your personal friends. Kat does a ton of business with her personal friends and family. Bruce seems to have a great way of communicating that he gets qualified borrowers every time he opens his mouth. I'd be curious to know how you guys would interact with that. I'd like to hear what Cheryl does every single day that she goes out into the world and gets realtor business. Wouldn't you guys? Wouldn't you guys want to hear what Cheryl does to get, I mean, how many realtor referrals? You got 16 realtor referrals. That's huge. Amazing. And I don't see anything. I see 2 referrals from one realtor. Outside of that, every realtor has referred you what appears to be a qualified buyer. Is that fair?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Cheryl, it's your floor. I'd love to hear it.
Okay. Well, it did help that prior to coming on board with Success Mortgage, I was with another company, and we were inside of a Keller Williams. But as I look at some of these names, they're not really they're not necessarily ones that were with that company. So 2 of the realtors are actually, they live in my neighborhood, and what's ironic is my husband's also a realtor, but I've become personal friends with them. I actually invited them over to my house one morning. We had, I made a breakfast, whatever, and we had coffee, and we just sat and talked about their goals for this coming year. This was back in January. And so just by having that, and then another realtor, she's working with a pretty go-getter realtor that I did know from when I was in the Keller Williams office, and she's fairly new, and I set up a coffee with her, and we just got to know each other. So setting up a coffee with the realtors is key, and just getting to know them, frog them, just find out, become friends with them. And another thing that's really helpful is if you'll become a member of the, like I'm a member of the 400 North Board of Realtors, and it costs, I don't know, $300 for the year. But then I'm meeting people that way and get involved in the activities that they do, like picking up trash alongside the road, or if they have an event at the park. Just go and become friends with them, and once they know, like, and trust you, they're going to send you business.
Wow, that's simple. Become friends with people. It's amazing.
Yes.
How many of you guys, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that, Bruce and Kat, how many opportunities are you missing by not engaging with some of the activities that Cheryl does?
A lot, yeah.
A lot,
absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
Have you guys explored some of the things that she just talked about? I mean, obviously being friends with realtors. I mean, that's I think very key. But engaging in those activities, whether it be charitable functions, whether it be outings, whatever the case may be, you guys all have them in your area, and I'm willing to bet you, Kat and Bruce, the more time that you spend with people on a face-to-face basis in a group setting, you're going to attract more people. You don't have to go sell yourself to these people. You guys are already great communicators and great people. You guys are already strong givers. I think that's fantastic. I mean, in my wildest dreams, could never imagine getting 16 referrals from realtors. I don't think I've ever gotten that kind of referral volume from realtors in my entire career, ever. And that just is because my mind shift was different. I wanted more business from my past clients. I wanted to have more control over my relationships, and I wanted to be the one giving referrals out to realtors. So let me ask you this one, Cheryl, which is a key piece of it. Wouldn't you like to get current client referrals and past client referrals? Wouldn't that be a great ancillary part of your business?
Yes, and I do not I'm not focusing on that whatsoever, and I need to spend more time focusing on that. I don't know if the other two are familiar with Jungo, but I do have all my past clients on Jungo, and so you know, that should be helping. We launched that, I think, back in January or February of this year. You know, and so they're constantly getting drips from me.
They're getting drips from you, but it's just white noise to them. It's not really communicating your request. The only way that and let's look at it from this perspective too. So I'm a firm believer that when you have active buyers in your pipeline, whether they're pre-approvals or actually under contract, these are people that already know you, like you, and trust you, and would advocate you if you asked. At one point, I think we talked about some statistics, but I just want to kind of go back to this as well. So out of the last 10 people that you've done business with and closed, 20% of them will refer you just because that's who they are. Another 20% won't ever say anything about you to anybody just because they're more introverted and that's just who they are. But the remaining 60% or 6 in this scenario would definitely help you with your business if you simply asked and made a request. The reality is, Cheryl, right now, you could literally add 6 more referrals to your pipeline if you simply went through your referrals and went back and made sure that each and every single one of them understood that through this process, you're going to be requiring them to advocate you to the people in their life that they care about. So every time you get a referral from a realtor, you have a chance of being able to cultivate another relationship out of that client that you can pass back to that realtor. See, a lot of times we live in this very parasitic host relationships with realtors. We take, and we do a really good job of closing loans, but very, very, very few loan officers have the ability of being able to refer back to their agents. And when you're able to master that part of the business, you become irreplaceable, and you no longer become a good as your last transaction loan officer. And that's part of the reason why we stress out every month with our clients, is because if we don't do a job perfectly for our realtors, they're going to look at possibly sending deals elsewhere if we don't have a strong enough friendship and if we haven't really described our value to them. When you're able to start referring clients back to your agents because your system promotes advocacy and promotes your ability to get referrals, you become indispensable to these agents. And when you look at your business, if the market was to have a downturn, or if your real estate business got to be where there was not enough inventory, your realtor business is going to dry up. Right now, it's really, really good. So what I would like to see you do is diversify your business and put your, I know you got Bridget on your lead tracker as a past client referral, but I would love to see you have at least 3 to 6 current client referrals by the end of August.
Okay.
So you're doing realtor relationships really, really well. But I think what you do is you focus a lot of time on the front end, and you're wasting a great opportunity during the process with people that are already talking about their business dealings with you and the agent anyway. You might as well ask them for help as well.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
I closed some clients this on Wednesday, and it was a young couple, and they were talking about how a lot of their friends are at the same stage in their life. So I will be following up with a phone call with them next week. They're moving in on Saturday, so for sure.
So here's the difference between being an expert and being a master. An expert understands the information, can recite the information, and knows how to talk about the information. The master actually knows how to implement it and use it in its highest form. You've just described a scenario where you orchestrated a referable moment. You actually got into a dialogue with a client that told you that they have a surplus of friends that are all on the similar stage. What did you say to them at that moment? What was it that came out of your mouth that made you end the conversation with them at that moment?
Oh, well, we were at the closing table, and the seller was quite a chatterbox, and so you could barely get a word in edgewise. Right. But
right.
Anyway, I thought they're actually moving in Saturday late afternoon. I actually thought about showing up with pizza and creating a referable moment then.
That's right.
A wow moment.
But see what happened. And so my assumption, and I could be wrong, but I'm going to assume that through the process of when you first met until the time that they went to the closing table, that you probably were told thank you by them in some way, shape, or form at least 5 times, right?
Yes.
Every one of those accolades, every time that they showed appreciation to you, you had created a referable moment, and you simply glossed right over it. Imagine if it, you know, it's 100% accurate.
That's probably very true.
Imagine what the difference would be right now had you had the initial conversation in the beginning about your business model being based on advocacy with people that refer you, people that they care about from the very beginning. Imagine that through that process of from start to finish, you had been getting thank yous, and you'd said, you know what, don't forget, I'm counting on you to refer me the people in your life that you care about. Imagine what happens at the time of closing. They may have already referred you somebody, or the conversation is significantly different because they're like, oh my God, we're here, we're moving in. I can't even begin to thank you enough. We've got 3 friends that are going to be helping us move in on Saturday, and we're going to tell them all about you. And now you can show up on Saturday with pizza and make it even a greater referable opportunity. See, we tend to get lost in the details of our business, and we spend a lot of time being loan officers. We're all really decent at being loan officers. But the difference is that being an expert loan officer does not mean that you're a master originator. The master originator understands that being a loan officer creates referable moments. The master originator capitalizes on those referable moments. Each and every single one of you creates referable moments every time somebody says thank you to you. But because we spend most of our time in our loan officer mindset, we lose out on opportunities that are being presented to us day in and day out by not putting ourselves into that originator mindset. The reason why we spent the first several weeks talking about mindset and language and certain values that we share about why we do this was so that as you understand, as you go through as you start looking at your lead tracker, you start looking at these leads as being less about getting a loan done and more about the opportunity of originating another relationship. And that's the secret to this. It's finding the moments that allow you to capitalize on being an originator. Your loan officer duties take you to the moment that the originator is trying to capitalize on. Does everybody see that concept? Does everybody understand where I'm going with that?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes? So how many times this past week did you guys get a thank you from a client and simply glossed over it and didn't make a request? Probably a few, right?
No, I'm pretty good about slipping that in there right now.
Good, good. It's going to be key. It's going to be key in expanding your brands. Every client that's on your sheet is an opportunity to expand your brand. Whether you do the loan for them or not, that's the whole point of what that conversation was several weeks ago. I'm not necessarily going to be the best loan officer to do your loan, but I am the best originator to talk to about how we can map out your options, because I want you to become an advocate of my business whether I do a loan with you or not. This is where everything starts to take hold, and this is where the results really start to show whether you're applying the conversations that we've had over the last several weeks into your business. Cheryl, you do a great job with realtors, but you literally could probably add another 40% to your business by focusing on being an originator more often than being a loan officer. You guys get the difference between the two? You guys get the difference between the two?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. You guys, I am so proud. Each and every one of you guys is doing exceptionally well with your leads. I'm really, really impressed. Your quality of leads, your source of leads, and your conversations with them. I'm thoroughly impressed. This is going to be a great next couple months for you guys. So congratulations to each and every one of you guys. Should be proud. Always room for improvement, but I'm impressed with the results so far. It's better than I've seen with most LOs. So that says something about each and every one of you.
Thank you.
Do you guys have anything for me? Is there anything else that I could talk to you guys about before we end the call?
Nope, I'm good for now.
Okay. Can I ask you guys one question each, and I need you to be completely and totally honest, or vulnerable, yeah, sure. I should say.
Sure.
Is what we're doing here valuable?
Yes.
Most definitely.
Truly.
Very much.
Truly?
Yes.
Is it truly making an impact?
It truly
yes.
is.
For me, it's bringing things into perspective and focus, and it's allowing me to get out of my own way.
Awesome. Awesome. Can I ask you guys to do me a huge favor?
Yeah.
Sure.
It would mean the world to me if at some point in the next week you guys were to reach out to each of your branch managers, and not in an email, but really pick up the phone and have a heartfelt conversation with them about what your experience has been so far. I'm trying my best to position myself to be a true partner with each of you guys. And the branch manager, I don't really talk to. I don't talk to Craig. I don't talk to Heath or John, and I don't talk to Kevin Wildman about my interactions with you guys. So I believe more in having you guys talk about me through your own words to them, because what I want them to see is the value of what we're doing here. And if you guys truly find value in it, it would be great if each of you guys could share something about the class or something about our dealings that make them understand not only that you guys are really gaining momentum, but the value of our classes are really something maybe they should invite some of their other LOs to.
Yeah, absolutely.
I meet with Kevin every Thursday morning at 9 o'clock, and I've made the lead tracker a part of our conversation.
Great, great. So anything that you guys can share with them from your heart would be immensely helpful to me, because the powers that I report to, the owners, Kevin, Vince, and Owen, I'm always trying to position myself so that they see that I'm doing an exceptionally good job for what it is that they're asking me to do, and it just reconfirms that I'm in the right position, and that they recognize that, you know, we're making and changing people's lives. So it would be awesome if you could do that for me.
Absolutely.
Sure thing.
Awesome. I look forward to this call next week. You guys have a wonderful weekend with your families. Enjoy your time. And again, if there's anything I can do to help, please let me know. And I'm going to try this tagline out and see if you guys think you're better today than you were yesterday.
Yep,
that is true.
Awesome.
Good words.
Have a great weekend, guys.
Okay, you too, Doug. Thank you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.